What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. This is Worldwide Vinny, and today we are going to be shaking things up a little bit. If you've been keeping up the channel, you know I've been working on a multiverse ride called Chop Shop. You can see it over in the left there. It's like a back alley city block thing, but today I just needed a little break from that, and I wanted to jump into something different, and I've had this idea for the park for a minute, so I figured I'd get going on it. This is not the final product, but it's starting to get close to there. This is just as far as I was able to get in 2 sessions of playing, and I figured it was a decent stopping point to kind of jump in and show off some footage and just talk a little bit about the project. I don't have a name for it yet, but it's going to be like a drop tower, as you'll see in the windows there, and also like a little cafeteria style plaza, and I'll probably do some other stuff with it. Not positive exactly what I'm going to do yet. Probably put some shops by where my mouse is down there in the bottom left, that lower entrance. I originally was going to make the queue line go into there for the drop tower, but I realized that the pathing I put created all these, poles that are holding it up, and I got to figure out if I can get rid of that first. But regardless, let's go ahead and jump into the build. So for this footage, I actually went ahead and didn't record. Well, I did record it, but the recording came out jank anyway. But I didn't record like building the foundation of the building. It honestly wasn't super exciting. You can kind of pick up on what it was. Essentially just created a pretty standard building with metal pieces, and then went ahead and lined it with those fluorescent strips, figured out a color I liked, stacked some pillars on the side, laid out some fencing, bada boom, bada bang, and that was it. But today I figured it'd be a little more exciting to go through setting up the windows, getting all those scaled properly, which actually proved to be a little harder than I expected. Yeah, as you're seeing right here already, I had to rescale it quite a bit just to get it lined up properly and to get it looking natural. And I think the end product definitely did look pretty natural. Coming back to that in just a second, though, the one thing on the base build that I didn't record or put in this video that's worth talking about is the front of those sloped roofs. I actually used a piece, I think it's called metal trim or something to do with trim. It's these trim pieces that I pasted up together and, put on there to give it a little bit of texture. The color of the metal sloped roof didn't quite match the aquatic scenery metal that I've been using for most of the Cyber City Park, and so I just wanted to do something to give it texture, make it match a little better, and I thought those worked pretty well. It was a little tedious getting them put into place, but not too bad. What was tedious, though, was getting all these windows lined up. Honestly, it looks really sick, and especially whenever you see that nighttime footage, it really, I think, was worth it. But man, it was just really tedious. This was my first big moment, because I have a 3-wide walled area on the front, and then the back I had like a 4-walled area, and it ended up just, I scaled it, as you're seeing here. I scaled it up to back to a 3-wall area just to make it fit a little better, and I didn't really feel like rescaling the windows again. I thought it might look kind of jank rescaling the windows again, so I just matched the window on the front of the building to the window on the side of the building. I'm sure I'll have to adjust the drop tower's location just a little bit, especially because I'm going to move the queue line from where I originally was going to put it. I'll probably have like an outdoor queue line on the side of the building I'm on right now that I don't know. I don't exactly know what I want to do with the queue line yet. I'm sure I'll come across, someone else's sick park with a good idea, or maybe one of y'all wants to drop a comment with some good ideas. But yeah, I'm not sure what I'm going to do there yet. But today's not about the queue line. Today's hardly even about the drop tower. It's about window placement. Getting these windows set up on this little front outcropping. Really like how they end up looking. These outcroppings really come together using combinations of windows. You'll see in a second, I get some windows to fill in that top portion right there. Surprisingly, using combinations of windows, it doesn't look super awkward. Once you put it together, it really, all feels pretty fluid and, stylish. This next part I actually had a lot of fun doing, despite how tedious it was. I just thought it looked really, really cool. I wanted to do some angled windows on the side here, so I decided to stack them all up, copy them, you can do world axis or relative axis to slide them down, line them up, and then repeat over and over and over and over and over. But it looks really cool. The end product with these side windows that are tilted up, I was really, really happy with. I was kind of nervous going into this build today, like, ah, crap, I have these tilted areas. I have no idea what I'm going to do for them. Big windows look kind of awkward when you tilt them because like these 8-pane ones I'm using everywhere else. I can't just like cut a corner out of it to keep them vertical. But I thought this was a good way to do the diagonal window portion of this building tastefully, you know? Yeah, it just works out very, very, you know, futuristic looking. There's a couple little gaps like that one you see down there right now. I'm not going to trip about them too much. They're really small. They're not super noticeable. Not everything's going to be perfect. And I don't know. I missed a couple things while I went through here. I'm sure I'll go back and polish this ride a little better. Like I'll polish everything else in the park at some point in time. But it's boring watching somebody do itty bitty little, you know, adjustments all over a building to make sure that it's perfect. I can do that on my own time. For now, I really just want to be able to show you guys the gist of what I'm doing, what kind of creative ideas I'm coming up with, how I am, you know, using different pieces of the game, like using trim to create textured roofs and using thin windows that you would typically see at the top of the building to go diagonal. Also using that trim again to create these side walls. I really liked how this turned out. Just adjusting them to give texture to the building. The building is super, super flat otherwise, and the windows help out a lot on the big portions. But on these little side areas where I didn't want to just do more windows, I thought it would be cool to do the trim stacked up. Oh yeah, already starting to look pretty good. I tried the LED strips like I used for the Chop Shop sign in a previous video, and they didn't glow enough for me. They didn't give that super cool futuristic skyscraper look I wanted, but these fluorescent bulbs did. And then I realized when I was looking at the building from a distance there's a lot of dark space on the building that I wanted to accentuate, especially these roofing pieces. I think the texture is just so great on them, it needs to be accentuated. So went in, threw some of those little spotlights on them. Thought that helped a lot, added a little splash of color, that pinkish purple. And then, you know, just touching up a couple pieces here, getting windows set up on the sides of the outcropping, getting it dialed in. Let's see, what are we moving into next? Just moving windows around. I hope y'all like watching people move windows, because you know, that's what most of this video is at this moment. I do some really cool stuff later on in the video, so definitely stick around for that. I start working on the plaza piece on top of where I'm placing these windows right now. Really excited for how that's going to turn out. I just got started on it too at the end of this video before I had to shut the game down and knock this commentary out. But yeah, so upgrading that entrance right there a little bit with these trim pieces, just, you know, making it a little more three-dimensional, copying over the diagonal windows to this side and repeating the process. Boom, boom, boom. It's a lot more enjoyable to see at 600 times speed. It is not as fun in real time. So here's where I start jumping into working on the plaza portion of this building. So getting these front windows established and then going in, I didn't grab one of the blueprint pieces. I did grab one of the blueprint pieces there, but actually realized I needed to do pathing before that. And pathing was a little tricky here. It's really hard to see how high up you actually are with the UI right now. And it's not like you can just snap it to the ground because it's a building roof. It's not the ground. So, yeah, I don't know if I'm missing something on easier ways to get pathing to be more fluid with like the rooftop of a building, but this was the best I could figure out how to do. And I did end up getting it working properly, as you'll see towards the end of the video. yeah, it's just, man, it's a pain. I was trying to get it lined up with my fence over there, and I got it pretty close. Going around the sides, filling it out a little bit, and then throwing the soda parlor in there, throwing a latte spot in there. I think I throw a pizza pin and a gelato spot up there as well. Really just want this area to be a food court of sorts. I've got a couple shops at the entrance of the park, like a hat store and I think like a slushie store. But I want to get a little more focused on where like the sections of the park are. So the entrance has like just a long walkway of, you know, random shops that I'll probably end up changing down the line. But this right here is a food court. So I wanted to make sure that all the places in it are food related. I only put 4 up there. I may put some more in later. I was going to throw some bathrooms in there, but realized it would be kind of weird to have the bathrooms right by where you walk to get the food. Seemed a little gross. I'm going to put it downstairs on this building. This next part was I was trying to work with the edit tool, and I'm not good with the edit tool for paths yet. This was a little tricky though. Again, figuring out the height situation, trying to get the stairs to go down and land where the roof was, but realized pretty quickly that just wasn't going to work. So now I had to find the height of the roof with these tiles, get them laid out. Trying to mess with the edit tool again to get it closer to the edge. I don't know how to work the edit tool, and it kills me. I'll learn at some point. Need a recommendation on a good video for working with the edit tool. But yep, just getting the path squared away. Finally get it looking pretty good. There's a little weird gap where it changes color right at the bottom of the stairs, but I'm not going to let that bother me too much. It'll blend into everything else once it's done. And then realized, I didn't put railings on it. How unsafe is that? Silly me. So I throw some railings on it. They're different railings than what are there, but I didn't want to use the same railings I'm using on the side of the building there because they would look kind of weird tilted and wouldn't build in super well. But I will end up putting them around the other side of that bottom half of the food court plaza area. So here we go, throwing some tables down, went with the round ones. I'll put more down there later on. For now, I just wanted to start with 3. Getting these umbrellas placed, squeezing them in the middle of the tables. They fit like a dream. It's almost like they were designed to be put there. Get them rotated so they all look a little bit different. Chuck down a couple trash cans. It's already starting to come together. Super excited about that. We're going to move some windows around to fill out the front of this food court plaza area just to give it a little more texture. Grab some LEDs. I'm keeping the LED theme going down the, outside and side of the building on all, or at least most of the corners. There's a big, anytime I go to like a big city and see one of these buildings that does the LED outlinings, I know it's corny and I know they're just like building these monoliths in the middle of the city trying to make them look cool, but I'm such a sucker for that like technique of LEDs just lining the sides of buildings. It just looks so futuristic. I love it. So getting those locked in there, throwing one on the side. And yeah, we move some windows around here. I don't think I get too far with messing with this stuff. I realize it doesn't line up exactly how I thought, and I'm going back to the other side like, okay, how's this supposed to line up? Copy it, move it over, get it placed, make some other adjustments along the way here. Let's see, what do I do? Yeah, scoot those up right there, and I think I kind of just decide. So yeah, I end up moving these LED strips here and just resizing and scooching a couple things around to clean it up for now. Obviously not the finished product, but just wanted to get it to a place where it looked decent and where I could, make this video and, just show off kind of where it is so far. I actually go and change some park settings so that I can power everything up without needing a generator. By the end of the series, this park will have generators and some simulation elements, but while I'm building, it was just a mega pain to try to keep up with, mechanics and all that, keeping all these things running. Go in, throw some signs down, using all the smaller signs. Just, I hope they add more shops in later updates. There's only a handful, maybe like 10 or 12, and they do look cool, and I like the design of them, but I want to build multiple sections of the park, and I actually already used some for the other ride for some theming, the signs that is, and I just want to have a little more variety, but I'm sure that'll come down the line. So a little extra lighting around here, just toying with stuff. I think I end up deciding that I wasn't huge on any of those pieces right now, and boom, there it is so far. It's starting to come together. The glass looks really cool. The way the light flickers off it obviously looks super fast there, given that it's at 600 times speed. But yeah, at regular speed, it looks nice. That's going to be it for today's video, guys. Thanks for tuning in, and I will see you in the next one.